Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name. You could ignore what's on the screen for a second here. This was just yesterday's thumbnail. I wanted to make a video a little bit different. I normally do guide videos or talking about specific games in kind of detail, but I wanted to do a little more general gaming news thing today. Sorry, there's something beneath my desk. It's a box. Get out of here. This will hopefully kind of give you an idea of what I'm going to do in the future, but also it's a fun way to start conversations and kind of let you know what kind of games I like playing. Usually they're a little niche, not always, but sometimes. So basically I'm going to talk about my 5 most anticipated games that I'm aware of 2024. Now there might be some that aren't on here that I am excited for spoiler for something not on here, if you could even do that. Dragon's Dogma 2. I am excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. I think it'll be a lot of fun. The DLC for Elden Ring, I think that'll be a lot of fun, but they're actually not my most anticipated games. Like, I probably will play them, but I'm not like day one, I'm going to play them right away. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, we'll just jump into it. Let's see what I'm actually excited about, all right? What do we got here? There we go. I have the soundtrack for Dragon Quest playing. Number 1. Can you tell what this is here? I know I can. That's Ichiban, man. I am so excited for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And that comes out in just a freaking couple weeks. This game, Like a Dragon, I don't even remember what the name of the first one was, but it's Like a Dragon's, well, it wasn't called Infinite Wealth. Point is, I own the game, and I played it a fuck ton. It's one of the first, not one of the first games on Steam that I got 100%, but I did 100% it, but there was a game-breaking bug right at the end at the super boss. So one of the things that I felt like this game really needed was a sequel. And I know that sounds weird. Like, the story is pretty self-contained, and it doesn't need a sequel in that way, but there was so much about this game that was fucking next world really good. I mean, like, a lot. That was just phenomenal. Great story. The story knew how to be emotional and engaging, but also wacky and silly. Super fun characters that also were like believable. The exploration was fun. The mini games were fun. There was a summon system and a job system. It had everything that I wanted from a big RPG, and I loved going around and killing all the stuff. Now, it had a good combat system, but I felt like the balance was a little bit off. I felt like a sequel, once they got their bearings into making RPGs, is exactly what the game needed to come with a more, like, basically Dragon Quest approach with a better balancing system, because the game was way too easy for almost the entire thing, and then it got really weirdly hard in the post game, but it was just like everything was sponges. I didn't think they nailed the balance, which it didn't take away from my enjoyment of the game, but it could have made it maybe my all-time favorite RPG of all time if it had that Dragon Quest quality of like really good balancing with the right type of tough fights, and like, just they needed better encounters too, just in general. But I'm so excited for this game. It was so fucking good. I love learning about Ichiban and his whole coming up. I don't think this game's story will be able to top it, because you're not being introduced to these characters, but I do bet is going to be good, though. All right. Number 2, and actually winner of my most anticipated game of the year, is Chronicle 100 Heroes. I can never remember how to say it. I say Yuden Chronicles. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong. This is basically, in case you're not familiar at all, this is going to be a spiritual successor to Suikoden, like 1, 2, and probably 3. I actually don't know which one's the guy that's behind this was like behind. But basically the idea, if you don't know what Suikoden is, basically it's an RPG. And then I think you use 6 characters as a party. I don't know if they're going to update that part or not, but the whole point is there's 100 playable characters, right? You go around, you're going to recruit lots and lots of playable characters, and you're going to basically build an army. And with that army, you have a home base, and recruiting more characters will improve your home base that they'll all be at, so you can go see them all, and you're going to get more passive things there. It's just really fucking fun. And then you'll actually be able to do like army on army battles as well. It's got like a Final Fantasy Tactics, probably not nearly as in depth, but that style of like army fights as well. I mean, this is basically a perfect RPG. If you've seen that YouTube short I did, it's got Beyblades, it's got Fire Emblem, all right, it's got good RPGs, it's got 100 characters that all look interesting. I'm very this is my most anticipated game by a long shot too. I'm going to be doing a lot on this game for sure. I don't know about guides on Infinite Wealth, but this game for sure. All right, So that's number 2, which is actually kind of number 1 because it's my most anticipated. But, you know, to jump on the bandwagon with probably a lot of other people in the world here. Yes, I'm very excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is one of my, you know, it's on my most anticipated games list. Let's see if there's any good screenshots here. The thing is, I don't know anything about this, like, at all. It looks like this might mean the gold saucer is there. It's called a saucer brawler. But I actually know almost nothing about this game, what it's going to be like, what direction they're going to go. After the last one, I honestly have no idea what direction they're going to go or how they're going to do an open world. Is there going to be an open world? I don't know. But, like, the idea if you go outside of Midgar, you transition to a world map, they must not be doing something like that. They must just have stages, right? But then how do you do the chocobo exploration? And then how do you do... I don't know. They're going to have to reimagine this whole thing, and I'm sure that... I love Final Fantasy Remake. I know it wasn't everyone's favorite. I think they nailed the combat. I think they nailed the feel. They nailed the nostalgia. And I like that it's not a direct remake. It's like an alternate storied path, apparently. I don't know how on the same story path it's going to stay and how different it's going to be, but it was just a really fucking fun game. Let's take a look. It's going to have, I mean, it's going to have Zack in it, which is already kind of like going to be weird. Let's take a look. Is there anything good here? Yeah, Seppi. We all know Seppi's there. Ooh, the ladies. Okay, so I wonder if Kate Sith is going to be in the game. I think you get Kate Sith at Gold Saucer, so that would mean that Kate Sith is in the game. Plus, I bet they added another playable character, but yeah, I'm very, very excited. I think everyone is. Another one that I think is going to be... I don't know if it's going to be good, all right? Can I be honest? I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm very excited for Avowed. If you're not aware of what Avowed is, it's basically, it's a developer, Obsidian Entertainment, which is known for a lot of good stuff and known for not everything is like super good. Let's take a look at their, these aren't all developed, right? Like they didn't develop Minecraft Legends, did they? No, so why is it even showing them here? Oh, that's Xbox Game Studios. Go back. Obsidian Entertainment. All right, well, it takes me to Xbox Game Studios in general. But Obsidian has done... You know what? Let's just look it up. Let's just look up exactly what Obsidian did, all right? Obsidian Games. Let's take a look at exactly what they've done. It's one of those things, like, I'm familiar with them, but I don't remember enough. All right. Here's the thing. Outer Worlds, all right? Outer Worlds, I thought was average, honestly. I didn't think it was super good, but I didn't think it was bad. But some of the games that they do that people love, right? Knights of the Old Republic 2, Sith Lord, New Vegas. Even the Stick of Truth I heard is pretty good. Pillars of Eternity is a huge fan base. Tyranny is a fucking great game. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. And now finally, I mean, Outer Worlds 2 hopefully is good. But now we're coming to Avowed. So I'm hoping that Avowed, it's basically going to be like Skyrim. Right, it's gonna be like their kind of take on a Skyrim thing, but it's gonna be in the world of Pillars of Eternity, which is just a really cool world in general, and I really like Pillars of Eternity. I'm hoping that you could be a Cypher and you know the lore chanter guy, and you could be a summoner. Like, I'm hoping there's a lot of really, really cool things they do with this. Now, I'm not 100% confident it's gonna be badass based off their track record. Here's the thing: Obsidian always makes games that I love, but aren't necessarily critically acclaimed. Like Outer Worlds, like I thought was like fine, but it was like fine in a way that I really wanted to play the whole thing. Does that make sense? Like I was engaged start to finish, but I was still like, it's still not as good as New Vegas, you know, but they made New Vegas. So, you know, I'm always ready for Obsidian to be the greatest studio. I feel like when Obsidian's behind it, I know that I'm going to like it, but I'm not confident it's going to be like an amazing game. But I know I'm going to enjoy it and get my money's worth at the very least. So is that good or bad? I don't know, but I'm very excited to see how they handle a first-person fantasy RPG. Maybe it's going to be like The Witcher. Probably not. I think it's first person. They say, right? Yeah, first person. So it's not going to be like The Witcher. It's going to be more Skyrim. But if they make it better than Skyrim's combat, which is kind of standing there doing this, I think that they could have a fucking hit on their hands here. All right. So there's two more, but they're kind of tied for fifth. Because one of them, I don't know. I have no idea when either of these are coming out. And so I figured at least one of these will be coming out at some point this in 2024. First, for the most popular one, because I already kind of spoiled it, will be Hades 2. Now, if you're familiar with Hades, if you're not familiar with Hades, that's weird, right? Everyone should be. But basically, in Hades 1, you're playing the not playing Hades, you're playing Hades' son. I can't remember his name, but it's a roguelike. If you played Binding of Isaac or anything, you know, you go on a run, you get passive and active buffs by going through that run. They can drop up different rarities, you get different events, you fight lots of monsters, relatively similar bosses, like almost identical bosses each time you go through, maybe literally identical, which I think that game could probably use some help on. But then you get combo powers and all kinds of stuff, and it's all in mythology. So it was basically like a critically acclaimed, and one of the things that it did, the other roguelikes didn't do nearly as, I won't say it didn't do it as well, but it did it in a way different than other roguelikes. It was storytelling. Yeah, Binding of Isaac and stuff has a story that's there, and but this at a very like upfront like narrative that drove through the whole roguelite experience, which is kind of, you would think they're kind of opposites, but it's all contextualized and it worked really well. And Hades 2, I mean, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like Hollow Knight 2, like Silk Song. Like, it's just like, the game was so good and so fucking perfect, and like everything they wanted to do, they set out to do, and they did it great. It was a great game with a great narrative. Everyone loved it. It made a ton of money. There's no one dislikes the game. I have nothing but 100% confidence on them to deliver a sequel. And that's the same exact thing with like Hollow Knight Silk Song. Although who knows when that game's coming out? Maybe it's soon. But the quality of the first one was so high that it's like I already know. Like I don't need to see another screenshot other than this right here to know that this game is going to be fucking a perfect sequel. It's going to be everything the first one was and then more. Hopefully with even more replayability and more interesting characters and more weapons and more boons and more things, more this, more that. I'm excited. And now the last one, this one is a little less probably popular of a pick, but maybe with my audience it's actually pretty big because I have a lot of nerdy boys and girls here. Metaphor Refantasio. Let's go here. All right. So basically, this is the three of the people behind Persona 3, 4, and 5. It's the game director, the character artist, and the composer. So the music, the head honcho, and then the art. I mean, this is just very Persona, right? It says fall 2024, so this one should be coming out. But this is like an Atlas game, and I read something that it's like one of their main goals was to bring back what made JRPGs kind of thing, like old school JRPGs. So like this should be a game steeped in not nostalgia in that way, but like older mechanics, older JRPG kind of things, you know. Hopefully that means difficulty as well. I mean, Persona games are not usually easy. But let's go ahead and just take a look, right? I mean, you can see the characters here. I mean, they're obviously just Persona characters. I mean, this guy could have just been the protagonist of one of the games, and he probably is the protagonist. I mean, that's literally that one, like, you know, you've seen these characters, I feel like, before. Although this guy is really cool. Maybe he's like the mascot, he or she, formal knight of a tribe. It seems to be something to do with kings. So you get like these followers. I assume that these are going to be like your Persona in a sense. Maybe it's not quite to the extent where you're just breeding and synthesizing them. But just look at this. They have a, here's the thing that I already know. Here's their webpage. If I look at like the webpage for Rebirth, you know, description, collector's edition, product details, right? This is the page here. Look at the fucking page for this. Like everything is so fucking over the top. And there's a whole section dedicated to mechanics, action and turn-based commands, party customization, high degree of freedom and strategy, and evolution of the realistic day-by-day journey of the Persona series. Look at this. You can see the staff, the art and sound, and then look at some of, like, just look at this screenshot right here. First of all, look at this one. Do you need to see any more than this right here? The answer is yes. You need to see one more. But like, this is so Persona, and I just look at this and I know it's gonna be good. It's got magic or something, and it's got money, quest, calendar, journal, followers, party, equipment. Yes, I'm in. But look at this. Oh, baby. I see this, and this is everything I want in an RPG. It doesn't seem that classic to me. It seems, I mean, it is kind of classic in a lot of ways. There's a lot of information going on here, and I can already tell this is probably a difficult fight. This is probably not easy, but also I might be associating that because I played Persona. But what a cool enemy design. You can see there's these characters, and they have these essentially personas, right? You can see it's kind of making their eyes glow too. But then you see archetype, weapon, guard, synthesis in the middle in combat. You could do a combat synthesis. You could pass your turn. This game just looks to be like a perfect RPG, a kind of game that I'll play for 100 hours at least. Very excited. Let's see if there's anything else. No, I'm so happy they put these screenshots in here. These are some good ass screenshots. I fucking love. I'm so excited for that game. But yeah, those are my most anticipated games. 5 most anticipated, but I actually did it 6 just because. But yeah, these are games that I'm likely going to cover, or at least these are games you can know for sure that I'm going to be playing. And I am interested to know what you guys think about the list. If you guys have a list that's very different from mine, pretty spot on with mine, or what games am I not thinking about that you think I should think about. And also, let's talk in the comments down below. When this video goes live, I'll probably be at work, so I won't be able to talk, but later that night, tonight, as of recording it, I suppose, I will be able to respond to comments and stuff. So yeah, a little bit different than my normal content, a little more general gaming stuff. I don't expect it to do nearly as well as like a guide content, but still, regardless, I felt like making it, and it is my YouTube channel, so I'll do what I want. Anyway, much love. Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Peace.